They built this car to stare Cadillac straight in the eye. And for one brief moment, Cadillac blinked at IN 1955. The Chrysler Imperial wasn't just another luxury car. It was a declaration, a warning shot. Chrysler saying, "We're done playing second place." And then, almost nobody remembers it. That's why this car matters. Because the 1955 Chrysler Imperial represents the exact moment Chrysler tried to rewrite the American luxury hierarchy. Before this, Imperial was just a trim level. Fancy, yes, but still a Chrysler. In 1955, that changed. Imperial became its own brand in everything but the badge. Longer, lower, more expensive, more ambitious. Chrysler wasn't chasing Buick or Oldsmobile anymore. They were hunting Cadillac and Lincoln. This car mattered because it forced Chrysler to think like a luxury powerhouse, not a volume brand. And for a few years, they actually pulled it off. To understand why. You have to step into America in the mid-1950s. The war was over. Suburbs were exploding. Highways were stretching coast to coast. Gas was cheap. Optimism was everywhere. Bigger was better. Flashier was smarter. Chrome wasn't decoration. It was confidence. The auto industry was locked in an arms race. Not for speed, but for prestige. Cadillac ruled the luxury world with tail fins and image. Lincoln was reinventing itself. Packard was fading fast. Chrysler knew this was their window. Miss it, and they'd be locked out of the luxury conversation forever. So they bet big on the Imperial, and they didn't play it safe. The 1955 Imperial rode on Chrysler's new forward-look philosophy even before the fins fully arrived. The body was massive, but it didn't feel bloated. Clean sides, subtle curves, a long hood that seemed to stretch into the future. It sat lower than previous luxury cars, giving it a sleeker, more modern stance. AT over 227 inches long. It was longer than a Cadillac Series 62. That wasn't an accident. Length was status. Wheelbase was dominance. The Imperial's proportions told the world this car belonged in the same rarefied air as the best luxury machines on American roads. The front end was bold without being gaudy. A wide, confident grille. Integrated headlights that didn't scream for attention. The rear was restrained, almost elegant, just before fins took over the decade. Inside, this is where Chrysler really flexed. The cabin was designed to feel solid, not flashy. Deep pile carpeting, broad leather seats that felt like living room furniture. Real metal trim, not thin plating. The dash was wide and horizontal, reinforcing the car's sense of calm authority. This wasn't a cockpit. It was a command center. And then there was the engineering. Under the hood sat Chrysler's 331 cubic inch FirePower Hemi V8. This wasn't marketing hype. This was the real thing. Hemispherical combustion chambers. Overhead valves. In luxury tune, it made around 250 horsepower, which in 1955 was serious power for a car this heavy, but what mattered wasn't raw speed. It was effortlessly. The Imperial moved with a kind of quiet confidence. Torque came on smooth and early. The Power Flight automatic shifted without drama. At highway speeds, the car felt planted, almost serene. This was a car built to devour miles, not impress stoplight crowds. Chrysler also leaned hard into ride quality. Torsion bar suspension would arrive later, but even in 1955, Imperials were tuned for isolation. Road noise faded away. Bumps were absorbed, not announced. Compared to many rivals, the Imperial felt engineered rather than styled. So if the car was this good, why didn't it win? Because luxury isn't just about metal. It's about mythology. Cadillac had spent decades building an image. Presidents drove Cadillacs. Movie stars drove Cadillacs. Success in America wore a Cadillac badge. Chrysler, despite all its engineering brilliance, couldn't buy that kind of cultural momentum overnight. There were also branding mistakes. The car said Imperial, but it still said Chrysler underneath. Dealerships sold everything from economy sedans to near-hand-built luxury cars under the same roof. Cadillac never had that problem. Timing hurt too. The luxury market was brutally conservative. Buyers didn't want the bold newcomer. They wanted reassurance, familiarity, status symbols that neighbors recognized instantly, and then the arms race escalated. Tail fins grew taller. Styling got louder. Costs went up. Chrysler doubled down with later Imperials, but by then, Cadillac had already adjusted and pushed back harder. The 1955 Imperial didn't fail because it was BAD.IT failed because it challenged the throne too early today. That's exactly why people care. Collectors know the secret. These cars are rarer than comparable Cadillacs. They are better engineered than most people expect. The Hemi alone makes them special. When one rolls into a show, it doesn't shout. It commands attention quietly. Values have climbed, but they are still accessible compared to many luxury icons of the era. And among historians, the 1955 Imperial is seen as a blueprint. The moment Chrysler proved it could build a true American luxury car on its own terms, that is a reminder that history isn't written only by the winners. Sometimes it's written by the ones brave enough to challenge them. The 1955 Chrysler Imperial isn't just a car that time forgot. It's proof that ambition, even when it falls short, can still echo for generations.